we tend to have this mom guilt that, oh, how can I go leaving my child behind and all of that. But then he told me, he said, listen, 30 minutes a day is not going to ruin your child's life. People feel entitled to tell you anything they want. They feel that, oh, okay, it's a public account, so I am entitled to an opinion. I am going to tell you what I feel. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. The kind of hate and troll that I received was something I didn't expect. See, people who genuinely love you are going to either appreciate it or tell you if something is not right.
Right.
And if somebody is constantly critiquing your work and telling you that, no, what are you doing? This is not even nice. And I think it's time to rethink who you want to keep in your inner circle then.
Swati, thanks a lot for joining us on this second episode of That's What Stree Said.
The pleasure is all mine.
Really grateful, and I'm really honored to have you here today.
The pleasure is all mine.
So for all our viewers, I just want to share with all of you that Swati is here in her capacity as an influencer on Instagram. She's doing some phenomenal work, and Stree Incredible is basically all about our personal journeys, but it's also about what each one of us can learn from each other, right? So Swati, in today's interview, while we talk about your journey, we'll also be really interested in knowing what you learned for yourself in this journey, in this process, and what all of us can learn from you.
Sure, I'd love to have a conversation with you on this.
Awesome. So Swati, let's kind of start. I know 5-6 years ago, something very significant happened to you in your life in terms of your perspective towards fitness. What exactly happened, and what changes happened in your life post that transition from being who you were to somebody who's so focused and so, the whole fitness thing that's come in your life after, 4-5 years ago?
So this was about 2.5 years after my daughter was born. And, although I used to do a bit of walking here and there before giving birth to my daughter, but then after delivery, I realized that the things that were working for me before pregnancy and before delivery weren't working in my favor once childbirth happened, because our bodies change. And, for most of us, including me at that point in time, we used to always equate fitness with weight loss. And then I said, oh my God, weight loss is not happening and all of that. And which is when, I don't know if you know Pinkathon, which is India's largest women's run. And I'm also an ambassador for Pinkathon. So there was an event, there was a baby wearing walk happening with Milind Soman at that point in time. And I was a huge fan, I still am. So we had gone for that walk, and that's where I met him, and I asked him, I said, listen, I need to do something about my health, but nothing's really happening and I'm not losing weight and all of that. So he told me a couple of things which really changed my perspective. One of them is that he said, don't treat exercise or health or fitness as a destination. Treat it like a journey.
Right.
Because if you treat it as a destination, then once you reach your ideal weight, you're going to stop doing whatever you did.
Right.
It's only when you think of this as something you want to do on a continued basis for all your life, you're going to be able to sustainably do this over a period of time. So that is one thing which he said. And also one thing which I have noticed, which most women go through, is, we tend to have this mom guilt that, oh, how can I go leaving my child behind, and it's not fair that I take time out for myself, or even if they're not a mother, if they have a family to take care of, all of that. But then he told me, he said, listen, 30 minutes a day is not going to ruin your child's life.
Right.
Nothing is going to happen.
Right.
It's just that you're going to be fitter, healthier, and in a better position to take care of her. So that's when that switch happened in my head, and I realized that I am not supposed to be equating fitness to weight loss. I need to focus on being able to stay fit and healthy on a continued basis.
Right.
And I would get up at 5:45 a.m. and I would go for a run because I wanted to come back before my daughter woke up. And that was happening for some time. And in April 2016, to be precise, again there was this Gudi Padwa run wherein I met Milind, and there was another friend of mine who I met there. And Milind told me that now, I mean, I was a chocoholic. Everywhere I went, either there would be chocolate stacked in my bag, or there'd be chocolate stacked up in the homes of my immediate family who I'd visit. And he said, I was the same, but now it's high time you give that up. I said, listen, I need to have my coffee and tea sweet. I can't have it without any sweetness in it. So he said, start jaggery powder, switch to jaggery powder, it will taste the same. The next day, I decided that let me do this for a week. At any point in time, if I feel that, listen, I can't do this, or if I am craving a lot to eat something that I really, really like, I said, I will give myself that break. Then thankfully that's never happened. I mean, once I made that switch, this was so liberating. And also, of course, sugar has a lot of ill effects, which so in every way it's better that we tend to avoid it in our day-to-day diet. But having said that, this made a huge difference to me, and I was getting fitter. My walking, running, whatever I was doing, I couldn't run continuously then, but that got better. I used to feel more energetic, and my weight also started dropping. So, weight loss happened as a byproduct of my healthy lifestyle.
Something that really caught my attention in this whole conversation was the whole idea of mom's guilt, right? And I think that is something that I have seen my mother going through. My sister-in-law, I stay in a joint family, and I've seen my sisters, my friends. I'm just wanting to know from you, what does it really take for a woman to understand this whole piece of woman's guilt, mother's guilt, right? Mom's guilt. And what would it take for somebody to really make that shift in their minds, right? And to really prioritize their life and not really focus on what the world is selling them or what they feel about what they should be doing as mom.
Thing with mom guilt is that I think there have been years of conditioning wherein women have been led into believing that taking care of yourself is always last. You need to
Right,
first take care of your family.
right.
Your husband, your parents, your in-laws, your children. After that, you need to prioritize yourself. In fact, in so many families, there are even women who will feed all the male members and the others in the family, and then sit down to have their
We've
meal.
seen that, right? We've seen that all around us.
Yeah.
From the time we've grown up, and I think it happens even today in a lot of families.
Yes, exactly. So, which is why it is necessary to have this conversation and to make it very clear to people that if you spend half an hour in taking care of your own health, you're only
Right.
going to be a better, better in terms of your health in order to take care of others. And half an hour a day is not going to possibly hurt anyone.
Right.
And the most important thing is your children will grow up. They will have a life of their own, which is what I told myself that now
Right.
I am 33 and my daughter is 8.5. If I don't do anything about my health now, at 50, if I tell myself, oh, my child is grown up and my child is probably, taking care of her life, and now if I want to take care of myself, I can probably still do it. But then children are going to move on and carry on with their lives. So we
Right.
need not kind of put everything else aside, and just focus on taking care of them. We need to focus on taking care of ourselves as well.
And I think Swati, it's also fantastic precedence that you are setting up for your own family and your child, right?
Exactly.
And she's going to grow up seeing how her mother
Very
is
true.
taking care of herself and how important health is. And that's such a beautiful gift to give to your child, right?
Exactly. And like they say, fit women for fit families. Such children will go on to, educate others and let others know that, listen, prioritizing yourself doesn't make somebody a bad human being.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks a lot for that. So Swati, tell me, how did this switch from fitness eventually, how did you transition into starting posting about yourself on Instagram, expressing yourself in whatever way you
Uh,
love? How did that journey begin?
See, I always liked dressing up and having my photos clicked and posting them. Tabhi it was Facebook. So, and then the switch happened, and a lot of people started moving to Instagram. And
Yeah.
in fact, I moved to Instagram and then I said, no, there's no space in my phone, and I deleted it once. And then after some time, I said, okay, let me just try it out and see if this works. And I had a private account until 2017 end, I think I had a private account.
Okay.
And that's when a few friends of mine who were following me told me that, listen, you post such nice photos of yourself and you are posting your workout updates every day. So that will inspire a lot of people. To be very honest, I was posting my workout updates for me to stay accountable. In pursuit of staying accountable for what I like doing, it was really, really pleasant to see that people actually reached out, and so they
Right.
would send me updates saying that this is what we did. So that community of people was really inspiring for me as well. So
Right.
that's how
Right.
it began. I mean, and I still post my workout updates because that is a huge chunk of who I am.
As consumers, right, we see only a very beautiful world of influencers that comes across to us in terms of photographs and in terms of, whatever great is happening in their lives.
Yeah.
But I just want to understand from you, how is the life of an influencer really different from everybody else's life? Or is it the same?
To be honest, it is the same. I mean, I have now realized that, this is like another professional job that we do. Especially, again, I would say India, because generally we have this tendency wherein we focus too much on education, which is not wrong. But in focusing so much on education, if you tell somebody that, if they ask you, what do you do? If you
Hmm.
tell them you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a dancer, they'll be like, "Acha, aur kya karte ho?"
Yeah.
That is the next question that people tend to ask you because they don't think that these are real jobs,
Right.
right? But then it absolutely is, because wherever there is a monetary reimbursement involved for the work done, it is a job.
Right.
It is
Right.
and we're all professionals here.
Swati, tell me, you talked about brands. I'm really curious to know, like from your experience working and being associated with big brands, small brands, right? What do brands really look into influencers when they hire you for talking about their products and services?
See, I think the most important thing is how authentic and how real you are.
Okay.
I think at least that's what brands have told me, because, ultimately people should relate to your content.
Right.
Otherwise, everything else falls flat. So
Right.
when they see me, they see a lady who is just like them, who has a family, who has a child, who has other things to do, and is dressing up and posting a. See, I mean, to give you an example, if I look at, say, a sari on an A-list actor, the first thing that comes to my head is, hi, everything looks good on them,
Right. Right.
right? But the whole idea of an influencer is that they are very relatable to everyday people. I mean, I am one of them. I mean,
Right.
I'm no different from anybody else there.
Right.
So when somebody sees me in a sari, they can relate to the fact that, oh, if it looks nice on her, it'll look good
It
on
look
me as
nice
well.
on me. Yeah.
So it's
And
that.
I also think that sometimes you like to watch like stars, but then you feel ये तो मतलब ये स्टार के पास हो सकता है पर ये मेरे पास नहीं हो सकता.
Exactly. उनपे अच्छा लगेगा, मुझ पे नहीं.
Right.
You
Right.
know, they can carry it off because उनके यहाँ पे, ऐसे lights हैं, cameras हैं, so it looks nice when they do it. But ultimately, it is about how uh, relatable your content is to the audience.
Right. Authentic and real, right? And those words really caught my attention. I'm just wondering how difficult or easy it is for influencers to really be authentic. What is the cost of being real and authentic in this world of social media and digital?
See, there is a good and there is a bad to everything that you do, and especially when it is on social media, people feel entitled to tell you anything they want.
Right.
They feel that, oh, okay, it's a public account, so I am entitled to an opinion. I am going to tell you what I feel. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. So, in this case, I think what works for me is that I ensure that I don't do things that are not okay as per my purview of things. Like, for example, I don't consume sugar, like I told you. So
Right.
for me, I wouldn't be comfortable promoting a product that has sugar in it. Or even if I'm asking somebody else to consume it and then I am posting a review, I am still wrong,
Right.
according to me.
So basically, you are saying no to business.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, what does it take for a person to be so clear and know that this is what I want to do and this is what I don't want?
See, in my case, my idea is very clear that if I don't use something or if I don't consume something, I will not talk about it on social media. In
Right.
fact, there have been so many times I've spoken about giving up sugar and why I don't have it and all of that. And after writing all of this, if I'm going to endorse, say, a biscuit or a chocolate,
Right.
then my audience is going to lose faith in me.
Right. Right. And I
So
think
for me,
that's your biggest wealth, right? I mean,
absolutely.
the amount of faith that people have in you and trust in
Social
coming
media
out of
or
this.
otherwise. Social
Yeah.
media or otherwise, I think the amount of faith that people have in you is something you need to retain.
Right.
It's not something that you can do away with because this is the audience that is consuming your content.
Right. Right.
There have been many brands have said no to. Like, I also don't use leather. There are people who love it. Fair
Right.
enough. I mean, it's just that something I don't
Right.
consume. So there have been many brands I have said no to. I don't think that, oh, okay, I'm getting such an amazing handbag which is so expensive free, or I don't think that, oh my God, I'm actually getting paid to do this.
Right. So I think we are again coming back to who you really are as a person, right?
Yeah.
That kind of needs to show up again and again and again.
And that is what people connect with.
Right. Right. And I think at the end of the day, this is what is sustainable, right? Because influencers ka like brand associations is one thing, but then people see through it, right? And that trust and faith that brands are really looking for comes from the sense of authenticity that flows into
Exactly.
everything that you do.
No, because otherwise, see, for example, if I am looking at some other influencer's post and I
Right.
tell myself, oh my God, yesterday they were talking about sustainable fashion, today they are wearing something which is fast fashion, you know, or for yesterday they spoke about good health and today they are endorsing a packet of chips.
Right.
So for me, that is like not something I would appreciate.
Okay, awesome. Honestly, one of the main reasons for doing this interview with you is that who doesn't want a lifestyle like an influencer? To be very honest, ठीक है? सबको ये life चाहिए ना? Everybody likes to be loved. Everybody likes to be heard. Everybody likes to be seen. Everybody likes to be appreciated, right? And of course, with all this, there is an element of money that comes in, which is the reality. So there's no point in saying that नहीं नहीं यार इसके लिए तो हम नहीं कर रहे. And I think that's a beautiful life that a lot of people dream of.
But
But
I will
only
tell you, I have started doing paid collaborations only for the last 2 years now.
okay,
Until then, there were very few paid collaborations that I did because, like I said, most of these brands were homegrown brands.
right.
So I used to do a lot of barter collaborations. You know, at that point in time, to be honest, I didn't even know that this is an actual commercial activity that people engage in. So for lack of knowledge and for lack of understanding and for, you know, supporting homegrown brands, I
Yeah.
have done a lot of barter collaborations back then.
Yeah. But how do you feel about it now that you're talking about it? Do you look at it from the perspective that Array, I was naive and that's why I didn't charge, or again that's part of your authentic self and you're really proud
In
of that?
some cases, yes, I do feel that I should have because I realized that these brands have paid everybody else that they worked with.
Right.
Okay, so that is one. And the other thing is, which I mean, when I was told when I started doing paid collaborations, that if the brand is selling the products that you are endorsing and making money out of you, I
Right.
mean, it's only fair that I get remunerated for it, right? I mean, that's
But it's also Swati very difficult for a lot of people to articulate that this is my value and this is what I'm going to charge, right? Was it difficult for you also in the initial days?
Yeah, it was. In fact, I used to keep feeling that, oh my God, am I quoting more? Will I lose out on this collaboration because I am quoting a sum that the brand may or may not pay? And I'm not even talking about smaller brands. These are big brands who will tell you that they don't have budgets,
Right.
which I know I don't want to believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact,
But
there are
but what helped you shift that thing, from feeling hesitant to demand what you feel you deserve to kind of being really honest with yourself and saying this is what I think I
no,
deserve
because
to
I
get.
realized that I was putting in a lot of time and effort in
Right.
creating that kind of content. So, and then beyond a point, I realized that if the brand is going to get good quality content from me, the
Right.
brand is going to benefit from my followers buying from them, and
Right.
they are going to be earning money out of me,
Right.
then it's not wrong for me to ask to be, paid the right amount for it.
Right. And Swati, do you even like you said, right? You work with a lot of homegrown brands. So do you even kind of extend your support to them even today, or now it's only that you're working with larger brands and then
No, no,
there's this
absolutely. There are a
link
lot
you
of homegrown brands I still work with. And of course, like I predominantly do only paid collaborations with most of them, and the brands are also equally happy for the kind of content that they're getting and for the kind of benefit that they're getting in terms of sale. Although an influencer is not directly responsible for you to, drive sales. Yes, they do help. It matters a lot. But then if the influencer is giving you good quality content and the influencer is validating your brand, saying that this is
right,
something which is really nice and I like using it,
right.
that is more important.
So Swati, for influencers who are still today feeling hesitant to ask what they feel they deserve, what advice would you give them?
I think I would always say that take this on case basis. Like there might be certain brands which are big brands that can pay you. So
Right,
in such cases, you don't need to step down just because you might lose that collaboration.
right,
But in case of a homegrown brand wherein you're going to be charging just a basic amount for doing the work that you're doing, it is okay to negotiate. It's okay to
right.
negotiate because, it's a win-win for both of you in that case.
This is like a dream life, right? I mean, so many. It's almost like the film industry, right? Everybody wants to be a hero. I remember I was watching an interview of Mostly Sane, Prajakta Kohli. I don't know if you
Mm,
know about her, right? She's also an influencer, and I follow her for a long time.
yeah.
And she was talking about one of the interviews that Shah Rukh Khan had given, where he said that in future celebrities may not be from Bollywood, right? They may be from something else. And what we are seeing today is social media is creating celebrity. I mean, in
Yeah.
the sense that your own community, people look up to you. They aspire for a life like you. So my question to you was that while so many of us aspire to be influencers and want to create an impact, yet there are only a handful who eventually make it. So I'm just wondering what's really happening with those who are not able to be there. I mean, what's going wrong in their life, or what could they do differently than what they're doing today to ensure that they are able to at least materialize their dream in some way or the other?
Like I said, the most important thing will always be to, like for me, for example, fashion and fitness. These two are predominantly things I love doing and things I can talk about.
Right,
Again, fitness not as somebody who's qualified as a trainer, but as somebody who has been on that path for the last so many years. So,
right,
which is why when people ask me to share exercise videos, I don't, because I am not qualified to train people. And in spite of that, there might be, just a few topics which I like to talk about. So, fashion is one, fitness is another, and I like to talk about empowering women, how, women have probably been misunderstood, and how we have a voice, and how, as a community, we need to stand up for each other. I like conversations on that. So, because I am doing that, I will probably not run out of content.
right.
So if somebody is aspiring to be an influencer, the only thing that they need to focus on is to talk about things that they know and to talk about things that they love doing.
Right.
Otherwise, they are going to get either
Exhausted.
bored or
Yeah.
lost in the
Run
ocean
out
of
of
so many
content. Run
people.
out of content.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the biggest fears of creators, right? That मेरा content खत्म हो गया तो मैं क्या करूँगा या
नहीं,
क्या
वो fear मुझे भी है. There
करूँगा?
are certain days when even I am out of ideas.
Right.
But some days you will not have any content to post. Some days you will not feel like posting anything. Like
Right.
the last 2 3 months, I mean, I've just about started posting proper content again because the last 2 months I was only posting COVID updates
Right.
on my stories and all of that because that was the right thing for me to do.
Right.
Of
Right.
course, my engagement took a hit. My, because people at all times don't want to see COVID updates constantly on
Yes.
their timeline.
Right. Right.
So, but then it was the right thing to do at that point because we also received a lot of messages from people who actually received leads or help because of sharing those updates. So,
Right.
I mean, ultimately, that's what's important.
Yes. So, Swati, you are, I think your community is what, 200,000 plus on Instagram.
Yeah,
So, you are also open to the judgments and prejudices
of course,
and all sorts of opinions of everybody, right? Unsolicited advice, सब कुछ आता
always.
होगा, I'm sure,
Advice
right?
most of the time is unsolicited.
Yeah. So tell me, Swati, honestly, does this affect you as a person? Because many times you may not even be in a frame of mind to really listen to all these things, but then this become a part of your life.
Sometimes it does, but most of the times it doesn't. Because for me, I only get affected when people in my inner circle tell me something. And people in my inner circle are not going to troll me on social media, they will tell me.
Right.
So 99.9% of the times I don't get affected. Like, for example, something as simple as I posted my vaccine update saying that I got my first shot done. And of course, there were a lot of people who were happy, but the kind of hate and troll that I received was something I didn't expect. Because at that time, it was very difficult to get a slot, no? Now, of
Yeah.
course, it's become very easy.
Yeah.
So, there were a lot of hateful comments that people made just because, I got my shot and they didn't.
Right.
They assumed that I have gotten a favor and, the hospital has paid me to take the vaccine there and all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
I put up a nice post also after that, answering all these questions. People ask me, did you take the photographer along with you or did the hospital provide? So all sorts of, silly things. But beyond that, there are also many judgmental comments that people tend to pass on your photos or your posts and all of
Right.
that.
Right. So,
That,
Swati, what's really behind this resilience? Because what I'm hearing you say is that a lot of this doesn't affect you, right? But
yeah,
I'm also assuming that the fact that it doesn't affect you means you do something with yourself and your mind, right? Because it's not easy. I know a lot of people who do get affected by what people talk around them. So I'm just wondering what really goes behind this resilience. Is there anything you do for yourself that keeps you grounded and that allows you to protect yourself from all this negative energy that's around?
no, I think I'm just fortunate to have the right people around me. That even if some days I feel कि ये क्यों मेरे पोस्ट में आके ये लोग बकवास कर रहे हैं, there are people who will tell me कि छोड़ दे यार, मतलब they are not going to affect your life in any way.
Right.
So of course I don't like allow it to happen because sometimes you can block, sometimes you can ignore, but most of the times you have to call it out. Otherwise, if not you, they will go and do the same thing on somebody else's profile.
Right. Right. And I think
So,
that also is a part of your value system, right? Because it's so important. It's not only about you, but it's also about
me,
when
it's
you
about my
don't do anything,
community.
right?
That if I allow this, they're going to, if I block them, they will go to some other person's profile and they will start doing all this.
Right.
So,
Right.
sometimes it is important to tell them. And like I always say, the cybercrime cell in Mumbai is exceptional.
All right.
Each time there has been any kind of an issue with like social media per se,
Mhm.
me and few people I know have really benefited from how helpful the cybercrime cell is.
Awesome. So I'm really surprised to know this because I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I just thought that there is absolutely no way out if people troll you and abuse you and
No,
stalk
no,
you and stuff
of
like that.
course not. Of course not. They can track the person, they can take the accounts down, all of that. They're
That is,
amazing.
I want to check with you that, as you said, even you experience this fear that मेरा content नहीं खत्म हो गया, where will I create new content and stuff like that. Uh, can you share with me and all of us who will be listening to this, what are some personal fears that you've kind of overcome to, be where you are today?
See, people on social media want is for the audience to engage with you. So I
Right,
will be wrong if I say that if something doesn't get the right kind of reach, or if it doesn't get that many views or that many content interactions. I will be wrong if I say it does not affect me. Some days it does, but on most other days I think because what I post gives me happiness and brings me joy, I
right,
don't really, get affected by it. But having said that, for so many people, it does, you know, um, bother them, or it does have an impact on the fact that, oh, I'm running out of stuff to do, or
right,
I'm not being able to reach the right amount of people, and, what am I supposed to do? So, all these, thoughts that make you anxious are very normal. I think it is a part of not just being an influencer, it's a part of every other job. Like there were so many influencers who were being trolled during, you know, um, March to May when the second wave was really, really alarming. At that time, there were people who were posting regular content also.
right, right,
Me included, there were certain brand collaborations whose deliverables I had to meet with.
right,
Now, my point is, this is also like another job. You don't troll, say, a bank manager or a teacher or any other professional just because their job is not visible to you on social media.
right,
In this case, since what we do is visible on social media, people think it is okay to troll.
right,
लोग मर रहे हैं और तुम यहाँ पे पोस्ट कर रहे हो. But again, it's a job, right?
right, right, right,
So I understand and I feel really bad for what is happening around, but I also need to honor the commitments that I have
uh-huh.
made to the brand.
And I think that's a really fantastic perspective, because honestly, and I'm really being candid with you, that's not the way even I looked at things. Like when I look at social media also, I feel अरे यार ये क्यों ऐसा post कर रहा है, there's so much going around. But I think now, after I'm hearing you, I'm also reflecting that at the end of the day, I was doing my job, right? I was sitting at home and I was working on the laptop,
Yeah, that's
right?
what. But
And
the thing is, for 90% of the jobs, for
yes,
95% of the jobs, what you do is not visible. I might know that, okay, this person is an accountant, this person is a doctor, this person is a bank manager, this person is a teacher, this person is a driver. All of that I would know, but none
right,
of it is on social media. This is on
right,
social media.
right, right,
And so it kind of becomes very in your face for people who feel that it is morally wrong. So
right,
I had in fact written about it also. I said सोशल मीडिया पे कोविड टाइम्स में पोस्ट करना गलत है तो देखना भी गलत है.
right, right.
मत देखो.
Yeah. So I want to personally thank you for this. This has been a great learning for me in this conversation today. And this is what I'm going to take back with me. One of the things, of course, I'm going to take back with me in the
That's
conversation.
nice.
Thanks for that. Couple of last few things, right? What have you discovered about yourself in this journey? What would be your takeaways of who Swati is and what she's capable of when you reflect on what you've been able to achieve so far?
To be honest, I am really grateful that I have been able to build a community of not everybody, I would say, but a lot of like minded people who have been in this journey along with me for all these years. People
Right,
who have, seen my initial days on social media to until today. So it's this whole idea of having a community, having like-minded people is something that is really, really something I'm grateful about. So, I
right,
mean, I have realized that, until social media happened in such a big way, we thought that, oh, even for so many people, they didn't realize that. And sometimes Mukund used to ask me that, how can you become friends with somebody on social media by not even meeting them? Because
right,
traditionally, you become friends with people who you met in, say, school or college or in your work or through a social gathering.
Right.
But I realized that, I mean, now I guess 80 to 90% of my closest friends are people who I met on social media.
Right.
So that is one of the most gratifying experiences for me.
Right. And I think I'm sure, like when I'm hearing you, I'm also feeling so much energy within me, because it's so great that you are the center of a community, which is so big, and then you get to know people who probably you've not even seen in your life,
Exactly.
but then they connect with you at such a different level.
Yeah, one of my favorite people on social media is this incredible woman from Malaysia who I haven't met. I
Okay.
may meet her if I ever happen to go to Malaysia, but
Right.
then I mean, I there's this strong connect with her which I am having only thanks to Instagram. So yeah, that is really really important.
Awesome. So Swati, there are also, so while all this while we are talking about people who are already wanting to be influencers and what happens to the world of influencing, right? I also know that there are so many women who are so immensely talented, right? And so many I know personally, like my friends and my family, and I tell them that, hey, you know what, you got such an amazing talent. Why don't you talk about it? Why don't you share it with the world, right? And oftentimes they feel that उनको self doubt होता है कि hey यार, I don't know whether people will like it or not. I don't know how people will comment. I'm camera shy, and this and that. And I'm sure you must have heard of so many
I
such
have heard, and
excuses.
sometimes even I personally feel that it's not that because I'm putting myself out there, I don't have self doubt. There are many times when I feel that will this look nice? Will this work? Will my audience like it? So it's, I
Right.
think, very natural for people to feel that way.
Right. But Swati, for somebody who's watching this right now behind their screens, right, and just wondering, yeah, maybe this is an opportunity for me also to be like a Swati in the future, right? What advice would you like to give to those people who are not there, but like they're on the edge, right? If they are there, they can do great for themselves.
No, I think if maybe there is a certain amount of inhibition that people have, they could begin with having a private account and start putting out things that they like to do with
Right.
a smaller audience, with a known audience.
Right.
Sometimes their fear is that, oh, my friends and family is on social media. How am I supposed to do all this?
Right.
So, but honestly, just one life. That's all. I mean, just because my friends and family, see, people who genuinely love you are going to either appreciate it or tell you if something is not right.
Right.
And if somebody is constantly critiquing your work and telling you that, no, what are you doing? This is not even nice. And I think it's time to rethink who you want to keep in your inner circle then.
I
Because
think that's
if there
awesome.
is something you are good at, the world needs to see more of that. And if
Right.
you see social media now, everybody is doing everything. Like there are so many people I see who probably are not great singers or great dancers, or they're not like, but the whole idea of social media is you're finding it comfortable enough to put your art out into the world, and
Right.
that's the whole idea.
And I think the only way to overcome this fear of judgment is actually by doing it ना, वरना तो
Exactly.
कोई तरीका ही नहीं है. आप जिंदगी भर सोचते रहोगे, लाइफ खत्म हो
Like swimming. Unless I get into the pool, I'm not going to be able to learn.
जाएगी.
Never.
Right. And I think most of the times this fear is completely unfounded, because मुझे ये भी लगता है कि यार people really don't care so much about, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि दुनिया आपको ही देख रही है और
Yeah.
आपको ही जज करने के लिए बैठी है, right?
My mother
And
will always tell
sometimes
me, don't consider yourself so important, Swati. It's a great leveler.
yeah, awesome. So Swati, one last question. For all those people who are watching you and who want to make it really big on social media, I know we've already talked about this in bits and pieces here and there, right, in this conversation. But quickly, if you would like to sum up what you learned in your life and in your journey as an influencer, and from where you've been to where you are today, what would be those two or three main points or life lessons that you would like to share with everyone?
Like I said, keep your principles and your value systems in doing what you love very clear, so that when you're clear about that, it reflects in your day to day posts and your content that you create, and that is what the audience connects with.
Right.
So I think staying true to what you are is very important. Second thing, although I know it's easier said than done, there are so many times I myself, get flustered by it, is that I think don't take the good or the bad of social media very seriously. There might be some content that will do really, really well. There might be some content which you think that, oh my God, this is so beautiful, but it will not do well at all.
Right.
At the same time, there might be people who will be like showering praises on you. There might be people who will be talking really bad things about you. So then again, the good and the bad needs to stay in its place. I don't think the good should also, सर पे चढ़ा के बिठाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, and कुछ बुरा हो गया तो no point in feeling sad about it, because many times I feel that people also come with their set of baggages.
Right.
Like, it's not, I mean, probably there is something in their life, or something they are not happy about, and when they see a happy picture on screen, they don't like it. I mean, that is also, in fact, there are women who have written to me saying that, oh, what a life you have, your husband must be making a lot of money, you're just spending his money, and in buying clothes and dressing up and all of that. I mean, first of all, as women, we are trying to create a community that believes in equality. So if
Right.
one woman is going to drag the other one down, this whole thing goes down the drain. At the
Right.
same time, like I said, it comes with their personal baggage and all of that. So I don't think this hate also is something that you need to give attention to. Not worth it.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Swati, thank you so much. There's so much I've learned from you today. Right. My perspective about social media has influencers has really shifted a lot, and I think there's a lot more empathy that's going to come into me as a person when I look at anybody's feed. And even before, I'm not somebody who gives unsolicited advice or trolls anybody, but still I think it's very important for all of us to be aware of what that person is really doing to be where he or she is, right? So
Yeah,
before you post anything, and I think the way you talked about this as a profession and the work that you guys do, it's kind of brought in a very, very fresh perspective for me. I
I'm so
genuinely
glad.
want to thank you for that.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that.
And I also hope that people who are watching this and who are already on social media or who are not but are still deciding, as you said, you have one life, right? I hope they make the most of it.
Absolutely.
I also really loved about the fact that you talked about values, because both of us share that background, right? We are
Yes.
both passionate about the value systems and the role that they play in our lives. And I think, as Spider-Man said, right, with more power comes more
Yeah.
responsibility. I think that is going to be very, very central to all our lives, especially for people like you who are influencers, right? People believe in you, they have faith in you, and then
Which
when
is
you
why sometimes, sorry to cut you, I'm saying sometimes when there are fellow, I wouldn't, and not necessarily influencers, but people who have a social media presence, even when they talk about things that, there is somebody who says, I slept for 2 hours only, but still I went out and worked out. I mean, that's not right.
right,
You need anybody, actually, to be honest, everybody on social media is an influencer,
right,
because there are people who are reading your content and are having certain takeaways from you. So I
right,
think, like you said, there is a responsibility that everybody has. Like, for example, if I slept just for 2 hours, I will not work out the next day,
right, right.
because you need to respect your body. You need to understand that this is not how it works, and sari zindagi padi hai. So you need not like be foolhardy and push your body. So,
Yes,
that's just a small example, but I think everybody on social media influences somebody or the other in their own ways.
yes. So thank you once again. That was, I think, the last nugget of so many things that you shared with us. Swati, thank you so much on behalf of my entire team at Stree Incredible and this entire podcast.
Thank you
That's
so
what
much.
Stree said,
I
right?
had a
I
great time
really loved
talking
the
to you.
conversation today.
Absolutely. Likewise.
I never imagined when we met for the first time that someday we'll be having this conversation, right?
Absolutely. See, life works
And
miraculously.
I think that is, when you're talking about social media and how you connect to people. I think the connection that happened with you and me today also is because of that, right? It's because
Exactly.
of the whole the whole social media ecosystem that's got
Right.
created, and the work that you
Very
are
true.
doing and the work that I am doing.
Very
So I
true.
think I am also extremely grateful to be in this space today and to have an opportunity to talk to people like you.
Thank you so much. Had a great time
Awesome.
talking to you.
Thanks a lot, Swati. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.